The situation and information around COVID-19 is changing every day. With that in mind, please note that this episode was recorded on March 30th. This is a special edition of Note, a podcast on innovation. We are having timely conversations with some of the innovators from Season 1 about the coronavirus pandemic and how it's affecting their personal, professional, and business lives. Today, we are talking with Philippe Herndon. Philippe launched Caroline Guitar Company in 2010 to design, create, sell, and repair boutique guitar pedals. He originally wanted to make only pedals because, well, he could. Instead, the company took off as demand for his product did. Today, Caroline Guitar Company pedals have made it on the boards of artists like Chris Cornell, Nels Cline, Ben Bridwell, David Cobb, and Jason Isbell. When we last interviewed Philippe, he shared his personal journey, which led him to found Caroline Guitar Company.
Oh, no. I had no plan to make these products. I had absolutely no plan. I had gone to the Moore School of Business with the intent of developing into a marketing or product development post with a larger company. Unfortunately, it was 2007 through 2009, which is the economic financial collapse in this country, and nobody was hiring. So what I started to do is make these pedals with a friend of mine as what we called thunkware, as basically serve something for the portfolio that when I were to go to a product design or development firm, I'd be able to drop something on their desk and say, this is what I've been working for in the meantime while I've been looking for jobs. I was trying to become a lieutenant on a big ship. I was not trying to become a captain of a small ship.
And shared humorous anecdotes about his business school pedigree turned garage inventor, his approach to product naming, and stories of relationships with artists. If you haven't watched Philippe's videos or listened to the podcast session, check it out online at scribblesc.com. First of all, man, thank you so much for taking the time out and just having this chat. We've had a chance to kind of come back around and talk to a couple people, but again, your perspective on this is so unique and interesting. I think it's very interesting with you because we get someone who is an entrepreneur, who is a maker, who is a designer, who can represent that point of view here.
No, thanks for having me. I like the human interaction too.
Yes, everybody's sort of been like, yeah, you want me to talk? I'll talk. Let's just start out. Like, tell me how has life changed for you? You know, starting from like February to now. What's been the change like?
You know, I gotta be honest. I'm kind of kicking myself for not seeing this coming, or not seeing the scope of it coming. Because in early February, we had part suppliers from China who normally could do things for us with a 4 or 5 day turn. And what I mean by that is 4 days till part is completed, and maybe international shipping sometimes is as little as 3 to 7 days. So 4 to 5 day turn on their production and
right.
Then shipping. We were seeing those lead times moving from 4 days to 7 weeks.
Wow.
Due to coronavirus. And when you think of the scope and the capacity and just the sheer number of people and hands on deck that were available to our suppliers and their competitors in China, it should have been jaw-dropping and cause for running out of the house with our hair on fire. Because if it goes from 4 days to 7 weeks, then something really calamitous is happening.
Right.
That is a massive change in your capacity to produce, the size of your teams. They went down to skeleton teams. They even, at one point, I was worried that we lost our money forever because their website went down. They didn't even have staff on hand to maintain their web presence and things. I mean, it was alarming. And this is one of the most clockwork suppliers and stuff that we had ever seen.
You know, what's interesting about you talking about that, Philippe, is that I didn't, when I originally thought about this, I thought, okay, you might be doing pretty well right now because, you know, people have the time to let's call it indulge. But then I realized that you are retailer based. You can't buy your product necessarily from your website, can you? You have to go through a retailer to get your hands on this.
Yes, we've always been wholesaling without a direct channel to customers, and that has been that is something that we're going to have to reevaluate now.
Okay, interesting.
Mainly because we're getting a heads up that some of our retailers did not have runway or cash flow or contingency plans for any of this stuff happening. Some of the better ones, it's basically a Pareto principle thing again, where the better ones are able to absorb some of this stuff, and we have maintained our ability to have runway for myself and my employees. But I'm sometimes realizing that our existing business model is very much at the mercy of the capacity and competency of the people who are sending our product or providing our product to the end user. Mm-hmm. So for internet style sales or sales that don't depend upon the person having face to face with the retailer, it's almost been a little bit I don't want to say foolhardy, but we've just sort of we've outsourced that to retailers.
Sure.
And it's now something where I am having to come to grips with the fact that we are in the 20th century and people will want to do more direct sales.
You've talked about pivoting your products a little bit and in some ways pivoting how you sell them. Talk to me a little bit about how you're managing your team. You have employees. How has this changed now, with all the needs for social distancing and isolation?
It's been a little bit of a challenge for us because, what we make kind of depends on people being present to make things. And there's only so much work from home that people can do. We were ideally kind of set up for this in some ways because we had, each person could have over 100 square feet of space to themselves. Mm-hmm. Where they could almost not even have to interact with the other person at all. We regularly had days where people walk in, put on their headphones, and, do their thing, put stuff on boxes and out, and there's almost no interaction. So for me, I think the challenge has been kind of being able to cater to the comfort level of my guys, and just reassuring them that we do have runway, we do have a little bit of time, and we can absorb some hits. But also, I don't want to pressure them into feeling like they have to come in. If they are more comfortable staying at home, if they are more comfortable waiting this out, we can accommodate and work on that front as well. Mm-hmm. I did get some pushback on that. I thought it was kind of interesting. I got pushback from them where they said, candidly, one of my guys said, candidly, I feel like I'd be better at socially isolating if I come into work, because when I come into work, I just come into work. I might go get carry out for lunch or I'll bring it from home, but I come in, do stuff, and leave. But he's like, I wonder what I'll do if I'm just left at home with my thoughts all day.
Right.
It's like, that's a fair point. He's got, I think the routine of it has been refreshing for guys. But the other thing that's been a challenge is with all the slowdowns globally in our supply chain, I can accommodate my guys coming in, but also we have shortages of stuff they can do.
What so and just to make sure that people understand, you when you're building these pedals, you have to do this from your shop, your office, right? Like they can't. It's not like they just can't take their computer with them home and work remote. That's not an option here. They have to come in and build these things and craft them where all of the parts are. Okay, gotcha. So the idea of remote work.
There has to be a hands-on physical assembly and testing and packaging of a physical product.
How have you how have you all stayed productive and optimistic during this? Do you have any advice for our listeners in terms of how to stay productive and optimistic during these trying times?
Biggest thing for me has been able to forgive myself for not being perfectly productive and amazing at all times while dealing with this. And I have to remind myself that I am not going to teach my 5-year-old Mandarin. It's just not going to happen. Not during this time. I'm not going to be able to finish the singer-songwriter EP I've been working on for 10 years. Not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
I saw a great Instagram post from this site I follow, or this meme poster I follow named Tank Sinatra. And he said, and the post was, I'm telling myself I'm a good father as I take my son's pajamas from yesterday off to put him into his pajamas for today. You know? And so, like, I mean, there's all these real woulda, shoulda, coulda ideals about what you're supposed to be doing with this time while you're stuck at home, navigating children, navigating work, navigating constraints, navigating isolation, navigating the removal of a whole bunch of things, navigating the removal of schools and daycares and other places that will cook your food for you when you don't have time to do it. And the removal of all this stuff and the removal of natural human instincts to be present with each other and care about each other and in person with each other and be able to see different environments and all these things. And all of that stuff has been taken away by this. And that sucks. I think it helps to be able to say, yeah, that sucks. So let's forgive ourselves a little bit, be a little patient with each other and ourselves and each other and the people we're stuck with and our vision of ourselves as we adapt to this. My pass blocking technique has gotten amazing. I'm like Walter Jones. I'm like Pro Bowler for the Seahawks, Hall of Famer. Like, my kids try to get in that room while my wife is doing telework. It's like, and arms step out, extended. I'm cutting them off. There's like, no way. They are not getting around that corner. They are not getting around that corner. My wife is in a beautifully safe pocket to be able to do that telework. No way. You know?
Oh, yeah. So outside of learning how to block and tackle, what are some other things you've learned about yourself through this time? I'm
a little proud of my team and I for having been able to work as Spartan as we can to maintain, some runway, some margin, to be able to adapt, to figure out what we're going to be able to do next, and to be able to be committed to wanting everything to work out okay for us and for each other. And I think we need to look into people having the resources to be able to help each other out. And we need to look into the small business loans that are set up with the CARES Act, the payroll protection stuff. Everybody needs to look into those if they can, if their business is in a position to. But it's also made me rethink the value of all these local eateries and coffee shops and retailers. And I'd always appreciated, I think my wife and I have taken pride that we're not terrible customers at cafes and coffee shops and things. We've always been proud of being decent tippers and things like that. I think we'd always appreciated the people that we see day to day in our circuit that we would make through our day. And I look forward to seeing them again. You're
a student of culture. I remember visiting your shop. Love all your wares. Love your branding. Like, what content are you consuming right now that's keeping you inspired and motivated? What are you taking in on, be it social or on TV? Can you share some of that?
I've kind of enjoyed being able to just follow Instagram and follow artists doing live shows. I saw Keith Urban did a live show. I saw this guitarist named Andy Othling who does these morning almost meditations where he creates like ambient sounding guitar soundscape things. Been reading a kind of amusing book called Humans, A Brief History of How We effed it all up by Tom Phillips.
Yeah.
It's kind of a reminder that we this is not the first disaster that we've gone through.
That's fantastic, man. Philippe Herndon, founder of Caroline Guitar Company. Sir, appreciate you taking the time out to chat with us today, and I'm looking forward to the next time we can get together and chat, man. Thank you.
No, I look forward to that in person.
Absolutely.
Let's make sure that happens.
Yes, let's do that.
Thank you for everything.
All right, man. Thank you. Take care. Thank you, everyone, for listening to our special edition of Note, a podcast on innovation. We hope you found this conversation enlightening and informative. And if you have, please rate and share with your friends.